Australia is already baking in the long hot days of summer, and today brings the longest day of them all. On December the 22nd we reach the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere, which means the sun hits its maximum limit. The sun will be at its highest and travel its longest path across the sky. Throughout Australia, we'll experience the longest day of the year. But it's not just the longest day in terms of daylight hours. It's also the longest day, counting from noon one day until noon the next. It just so happens that not all days are created equal, and of all the months, December is when we get the most value out of our days. Read more, curious kids. Does space go on forever? Daily fluctuations from a timing point of view. If you go by your clock or watch, then every day is a standard 24 hours long, give or take the odd leap second. But a solar day is the time it takes for the sun to return to due north, or local noon, each day, and it varies across the year. Imagine the Earth rotating on its axis, but as it does so, it also moves a little further along its orbit around the sun. On average, the Earth needs to rotate an extra 4 minutes each day to realign itself to the noonday Sunday. It so happens that at the solstices, both summer and winter, the Earth has to rotate even more to bring the sun back to due north. This makes the solar day stretch to more than 24 hours, as I have explained previously. To summarize the point here, the solstices represent that moment in time when the sun reaches its most northern or southern point. It's easiest to imagine when you consider an Earth-centric view. Instead of having a tilted Earth orbiting the sun, we imagine that the sun follows a tilted orbit around the Earth. Today's solstice officially occurs at 3:28 am, AEDT, which is the moment when the sun reaches its southernmost point and starts moving northward. As such, the solstices occur at the extremes of the sun's orbit. The sun appears to stand still as it changes its north-south direction. Most of its movement is carried in the east-west direction or parallel to the Earth's equator. In reality, it means that the Earth must rotate even further than average to realign itself with the noonday sun, and so the solar day is longer. Speeding up and slowing down. So far we have only considered the tilt of the Earth. But the Earth's orbit around the sun is also slightly elliptical, which means the Earth isn't always orbiting at the same rate. Kepler's second law of planetary motion tells us that the Earth will be moving faster when it's closest to the sun, at perihelion, and slower when it's further away from the sun, at aphelion. By coincidence, the Earth reaches perihelion on January the 3rd, just after the summer solstice. That means right now, the Earth is moving at its fastest. It covers more ground during one rotation and therefore must keep rotating for longer to complete a solar day. Aphelion, or when the Earth is furthest from the sun, occurs on July the 4th, just after the winter solstice. At that time of the year, the sun is moving at its slowest, and so the solar day doesn't need to be quite as long because there's less ground to make up. Admittedly, the difference in a solar day is fairly small.